Welcome back, Syndicate members. It is I, Mammoth Stein, back once again with an independent comic book review. Tonight, Bride of Mammoth Stein is joining me.
That's right.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great on this spooky night.
And tonight we have a Halloween special for you, as you probably already guessed that. So this one was a good one.
This was very good. Definitely a little bit darker than some of the other ones that we've been reading, but a very nice twist.
Now, we picked this biscuit up at the latest Daytona Comic Con.
Yes.
That happened a couple months ago. About a month ago.
Yeah, it's gone quick, but
yeah. And so there we met Martin Pierro of the Cosmic Times, or Cosmic Times.
Yes.
And wow, what a great guy.
Oh yeah, really fun to talk to.
And his energy was great too.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that interview a lot. And we picked up quite a few titles. So obviously the one we're reviewing tonight, From Blood. But I actually like those Arthur books too.
Oh yes, we picked those up also, and I'm really excited to read those.
And Deep Space Tragedy.
Oh right,
Yeah.
I forgot. We had gotten a lot.
Yeah, the Deep Space Tragedy. I've already read through that one, and wow, I really like that one too.
Yeah.
But because it's Halloween, we decided to go with a darker title tonight.
Yes.
And this is From Blood. And I gotta say, this one had a few twists and turns in there.
Oh yes.
And it was right up my alley, I guess, this time.
Yes, I normally don't go as much as the horror, but I definitely enjoyed this one.
And this one kind of was not exactly, it was like horror, but then also you didn't really know a lot what was going on, and so it was kind of building up to the more you found out.
I agree.
So, alright, you ready to get into this biscuit?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the cover up there, Trevor. As you can see, From Blood. Now, this particular number one had multiple titles, or multiple covers.
Yes.
So basically, we'll put an overlay there of the inside one. They had like a Kickstarter promo, and then like a foil cover one. And
they even had a blank page so you could do your own. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. And so basically we start off at a mental institution, Grove Mental Institution.
Grove Mental Institution. And of course the outside looks like what you expect.
Now, this is the part that it really starts off a little awkward because we see one of our main characters here, Dr. Ashley Reese.
Yes, Dr. Ashley Reese. And she's just in a basic office setting, getting some water from the water cooler, and she goes to her desk and realizes she's got some roses. Now,
she doesn't react the way most ladies would to
no,
getting roses. So
a little different.
She kind of looks at them, and this is the part that's where we kind of disagree or agree with. I think that she saw the roses, and it reminded her of the scene we're going to get into later, because it shows a panel of bloody golf clubs.
Yes.
And so I was like, okay, maybe it reminded her of the apology roses from something awful that happened that we're not unaware of yet. But you said it maybe because they were drooping over a little bit, they were kind of dead.
Yeah, it kind of looked dead and almost like they were dripping blood a little bit. So
so maybe like the rose petals or something kind of looked like golf clubs bent over.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of how I perceived it. But yeah, she obviously did not have a good reaction.
Yes. So she like slams these things. I mean, first off, roses are expensive. Shockingly expensive.
Oh my goodness. They are, and look, they're just all on the floor now, just scattered everywhere. And her coworker, of course, comes running up and wants to know if she's okay. It's her coworker, Harold.
Well, not just her coworker.
Oh, right.
Because apparently they are seeing each other because he's the one that put the roses
yes.
on her desk, and then I guess to remind her of a dinner or something to that effect later on.
Right.
And he
didn't know it was gonna.
It triggered him, but he didn't seem like overly shocked either, though, right?
You would think that if someone sends you roses and they act like that, you would be like, "Oh, it's no big deal." But Okay, maybe we should cancel dinner.
Yeah, and I guess it is a mental asylum though.
This is true. They're psychiatrists. Maybe they just understand triggers a little bit better than other people.
Well, from there, they take I don't want to say a tour, but
no, I feel like they're kind of going on their rounds.
Okay, they're doing rounds.
So I'm thinking they're going on their rounds, and they're kind of just going through and just kind of looking at each patient, and they get to the patient in question, which is patient, what they refer to him either as John Doe or as patient number 27.
Right, because he hasn't spoken
in 10 years.
So this kind of reminded me of this part. These panels here was like he was doing like a Sarah Connor impersonation.
Oh, I know. He talk about working out with whatever you got.
Right.
He literally flipped his bed and was doing like pull-ups, and that's dedication right there for working out. So I got to give it to him.
But we know that these rooms can be turned into like at-home gyms.
I guess to get your frustration out, whatever works.
Well, luckily, no doctors got stabbed in the knee, but it did take a little epic turn because Dr. Harold, for me, I don't know about how you felt about Dr. Harold, but he likes to antagonize the patients a little bit.
Yeah, they're patients, not I don't think you should just say anyone, but my goodness, especially patients as you're trying to help. Yeah, he said, he's not talking for 10 years, so what should we do? Let's, antagonize him and try to get the cattle prods to him and everything.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, because these actually look like cattle prods.
Right?
And they're like, all right, we'll shock him into talking.
He's going to talk tonight. And I'm like, are you trying to just impress the girl? Like, what is that?
I think that was an attempt to impress Ashley. Maybe. I mean, a really horrible
that
attempt,
impresses no girls.
I mean, the flowers, he was like, okay, the flowers didn't get her, but maybe ultraviolence will.
Let's do the whole 180 on this, yeah.
So, patient number 27, how does he react?
Oh, this does not go over well for him. He obviously reacts very violently, and in great detail we see how violent that is.
Well, he bashes his head into the window.
Yes,
and,
oh gosh.
I mean, just straight up, like, runs into it, and this does not knock him out.
No, he just keeps doing it. Blood pouring.
Well, see, and that's another thing, too, is we see blood on the window, but we don't actually see any blood on him.
This is true, yes. And we realize why.
And so this is the thing, too, is like these orderlies...
Where did they get these guys from?
Like, I'm not sure about these guys, because they rush into the cell to shock him.
Yes.
Now, after seeing this guy like literally run in right into a window and not get taken out by that, not even phased by it, really.
He's just like, no, this is
so these guys, they come in and patient number 27 like teaches them a lesson.
A very brutal lesson, and we'll put some overlays up here, but you'll see how brutal we're talking about here.
So after this, Dr. Reese, Ashley, she decides that this would be a good time to go in and have a conversation.
And timing a little odd for me, but okay. She thinks she can, calm the situation down. She's like, I got this. Let me go at a different approach, which I definitely agree. A different approach would be much better.
Now, has she been working with him for the past 10 years?
See, I feel like no, almost, because she's almost learning about him, I feel. So maybe she's just like coming on.
Because honestly, if he's been under Harold's control for 10 years, I can see why this guy is not talking and becoming violently unstable.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
So they sit down, and then this is where it takes its first dark turn.
Yes. So they're just sitting down, and again, she's just in a room with him, one-on-one, and I'm like, wow, she is
and
brave.
It's not wise to share. It's not really wise to share a lot of background information with these patients.
I thought that was like Psychiatry 101. You don't let your own personal life. You're there to, find out about them, not the other way around.
Well, she feels that she's going to tell this horrific story.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, to kind of gain trust with patient 27. we don't really know why
Yes.
she's telling. I mean, I think to say, hey, this happened to me, so maybe I'm trying to relate in
Right.
some way. So, well, long story short, their niece comes over to the house. Now, Dr. Reese is married at the time.
Yes.
And they're playing with, the niece starts playing with the dog, Jacob.
Jake. Yes.
Okay. Now, as you know, with dogs, you roughhouse a little bit, and Jake snaps her on the cheek a little bit, or scratches her or something, and causes her to bleed. And they both kind of freak out.
They freak out really bad, and the guy completely loses his mind. And of course, Dr. Reese is just there trying to comfort the little girl, see what's going on. She's trying to wipe off the blood and trying to evaluate the situation. And unfortunately, her husband, Larry, takes a much different approach from that.
Well, we should also mention that when she cleans the girl's face off, it's really not that bad.
It's just literally like a little scratch.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of blood.
It's just superficial.
Yes.
And so the dad or the uncle takes his matters into his own hands and decides to do a hole-in-one on this dog.
I know.
And so literally with
cried.
he gets the 9-iron, and then that wasn't good enough, so then he gets the wood out, I guess.
Well, it just alludes to the fact, because you just see this bag of golf clubs and they're all bent and bloody, and it's just like.
But we should mention that this is the panel that we see in the beginning with the roses.
This is true. This is what triggers her in the beginning, which I could so.
And so that's what I liked about this, is because now we're kind of seeing, okay, she's had some horrible experience, and that's what triggered her at the beginning.
Yes.
And so basically, the dog's beat up, alive though, until well, I guess we found out more about that later.
Well, no, we do find out that the dog is alive, but he's obviously just so beat up, and it's
pretty
sad.
bad.
So yeah, she's just kind of explaining her story to patient 27. So I don't know if she's trying to get empathy or what yet. I'll find out a little bit later, but
well, I can tell you right now that if I was patient 27, I'm like, okay, why didn't you take that golf club to that dude?
I completely agree.
I mean, seriously, you gotta beat the dog with the golf clubs.
You deserve that fate too.
Oh man. Okay, so he doesn't respond very well to it.
No, it doesn't seem like he does at all. Definitely based on the next scene. I don't know if something triggers for him too. And it seems like he kind of does. But yeah, he kind of freaks out, and all of a sudden he's got her pinned against a wall by the neck.
Yeah, so he's got her up. This guy's probably a good, 7.5 feet?
Oh, and he's like wrestler size. Like he's a big guy.
And so he starts choking her, but then he also speaks.
For the first time, yes. And he says he's flashing or talking about a Maurice, right?
Yeah, he calls her by this name, and we're not sure why. So this is obviously connected to his past somewhere that we're not aware of yet. And that's when the orderlies come in with their cattle prods.
They're obsessed with these cattle prods. I don't know what it is about it. I'm not sure why they have to use those on all the patients, but here we are.
Well, they might be effective on the other patients because we don't really see any other patients getting out of line with this guy.
I guess that's true, yeah. But this guy doesn't take pain like the others, it seems like. But so she then again, goes back to Harold and thinks like, I'm right. I just need to talk to him again. So they're going back and forth. And the orderlies are...
Well, first, doesn't Harold mention that he can't be killed or he can't actually be injured?
That's true, yes. That that there's no way to kill him. I don't know how many times they've tried to kill him, but like in the other scene, I don't know if you mentioned it, where he was bashing his head, there was actually no scars or anything.
Well, yeah, because she mentions this in the meeting with Harold here.
Yes.
And she says, look, I looked over this guy after he bashed his head into this, I think she said 3-inch glass or whatever that stuff's made of. and it shattered the glass. I mean, 3 inches.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But he had no damage to him. Now, there was blood on the glass, so we know that he does bleed, but maybe he heals.
Like a Wolverine style, but like super quick.
Yeah. I mean, we're not sure yet, but we do know that he really can't be stopped because these cattle prods, they just slow him down. They don't really stop him.
I don't even know if they slow him down a whole lot. It almost looks like a bee sting to him, and that's just kind of crazy.
It just makes him madder.
It does. It's like, oh, now you made me mad. But, yeah, so he, she's talking to him, and then the orderlies are like, you know what, we're tired of this, patient 27. We're going to get him. Well, at least they think they're going to get him.
I also want to, we want to go back here, because I actually wrote this on my card, where, like, he hits this guy right in the jelly beans here. Trevor, can you put that up there? I mean, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you know that if this guy can crush glass with his forehead, what is that guy going through right now?
You don't want to know. Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad.
Okay, so back to what we're going through here. So as they're talking in Harold's office, patient 27 is going through these orderlies.
Ugh, it's brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Like, there's a lot of them, and they're not even affecting him at all.
No, and then he actually gets shivved.
That's true, yes, but he just rips that thing out. I mean, that's pretty.
He rips it out, and then and I really love this panel. This is the knife through neck panel.
Oh gosh!
And so we see that
I don't even know through the neck, more like
chin knife.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah.
So he gets the knife through the chin, and then patient 27 takes the keys off of his belt.
Right, and he's like, "Thank you," and he goes.
And we obviously know that this guy is not coming back for seconds.
No.
And then basically from here he makes his way down the hall. He just explodes, and this is one thing about patient 27 too. He's like taking out the other patients too.
Whoever's in his way, just mayhem and foolishness, just everywhere.
He's like going through everybody, even the guy in the wheelchair.
Oh yeah, that was messed up.
He was like,
yeah, what he did to that one guy though with the arm. Oh goodness.
Oh right. Yeah, Trevor put this one up. So this was the guy that I guess he was trying to shoot him with some type of assault rifle. And he wasn't quick enough. First off, you just got to let those bullets fly, bro.
Oh, well, I don't think it really makes any difference because that guy was just like almost absorbing the bullets too.
Yeah, because we see that he does get shot later on. But I'm like, dude, I'm not even aiming. I'm just letting it fly because
everyone better get out of the way.
First off, you're in a hallway, so there's not a lot of aiming you got to do.
You wouldn't think. But, so then all of a sudden, I guess Dr. Reese and her coworker friend Harold realize that something's going on, and they run out to the hall, and then, Harold needs some help.
Yeah, actually, I wrote this down as a needle neck Harold.
What an appropriate name.
So patient 27 took a stack of hypodermic needles and just straight up.
Talk about a fear of needles. Though.
Yeah.
My goodness.
What do you think were in those anyway?
Well, even if it's just air, that's going to kill you. So, not good.
Not good. And then, so from here though, Dr. Reese comes running up and she slides on some thick gore here.
Yes.
And then actually, I really like this splash page here.
Oh, it looks great. When you look close, you realize, that's a lot of bodies.
Yeah, there's a mountain of bodies behind patient 27, and then Dr. Reese is like on the ground in front of him. And this is one of my favorite pages.
It really was because it really showed you the carnage that has been happening.
Definitely. I really liked it.
Yes, and it just really keeps going from there.
Well, yeah, from here, this is the part that does confuse me because Dr. Reese becomes an ally.
Quickly, too.
I mean, after seeing Harold, the guy who gave her roses in the beginning, stabbed through the neck with hypodermic needles.
And now all of a sudden she's like, you know what? I think I'm going to help you out. Maybe she didn't like Harold. She, I never knew.
Well, he does got that really, rustic look going on. He's got, full beard, long hair, like chicks get that.
Chicks do take that.
And, buff.
Well, then she realizes she's got to actually get him changed because, he's all bloody. He's in a patient's uniform.
Right.
So she actually gets him into a doctor's uniform, which doesn't fit very well.
It doesn't fit very well, but this is the part where we also see his actual healing factor when he gets shot by the cops that are already inside the building by this point. Because someone had called the cops during all of this mayhem, and they arrive on scene. A couple of these guys just go ahead and they rush inside. Mm-hmm. This one guy lets it fly. Like I'm saying, see, this cop had the right idea. He just didn't know what was going to happen.
Had no idea what he was up against.
And so we see his healing factor take place. And actually, this is pretty cool.
It's impressive, and I actually love how they describe that in it. Like, you can see the different panels.
Right.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's like the first was the actual bullet wound, and we see it slowly close. Yeah,
I
like that
I
as
think
well.
It's like really quick, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm. I like that as well. Yeah, so after he gets the doctor's uniform put on, him and Reese, they just kind of walk outside like, hey, we're just trying to get out of here.
We just need to get out, no big deal. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, your uniform doesn't fit very well. And
I think actually he said, oh, that guy must have got his doctorate at the gymnasium.
Oh, that's right. I love a good joke.
But this is also where the patient 27 just rips the door off of the car.
Yes, just way to be subtle.
and so Ashley Reese has a great response to this. She just tells the cop, oh, we were in an accident last night. That door was just hanging on.
So why don't you rip it off like a Band-Aid?
Yeah. So this cop lets them just go in her car.
He's like, oh, that makes sense.
Doesn't question them. Doesn't question them. He's just like, hey, you know what?
Hey, that's how some serial killers have gotten away.
Right now.
Yeah. That's how serial killers get one.
And so they end up just going out, and so Ashley is taking him back to her place, and in the car ride over is when we learn patient 27's actual name. Well, the name that he gives her.
Yes. Finally, after 10 years, he finally tells someone the name, and it's Tim.
Tim.
Yeah. What a name. We'll wait 10 years for that.
Well, maybe she didn't wait 10 years.
This is true, yeah. But they did.
Before then, he had this guy that was, prodding him with electricals.
I wouldn't tell my name either. It's true.
They get to Dr. Reese's house.
Yes.
And he sort of has this weird, flashback.
Yeah, I can't really figure out what's going on, but he is almost terrified to go inside. And she's like, you know what? It's okay. Just come inside. We're gonna figure this out. Because I don't even think he really understands why this is triggered. Because I don't think he has any memory of this past.
No, he's. I think even some of the panels say, it's hard for him to remember.
Right.
And so it kind of looked like he was in a sandstorm of some type, maybe a tornado.
I could see that. Yeah.
I wasn't sure exactly, but
it was definitely something bad.
Right. So Ashley gets him inside.
Yep. Tells him just make yourself comfortable, just chill, and looks like he tries to. And then they ended up started talking. Looks like in their kitchen, or in her kitchen, I should say.
And this is the weird part for me, though. She's not really concerned for her own safety.
I don't feel like she has been from the very beginning. She saw that first, destruction that he did, and she's like, oh, let me get in this little room with him. No chains, no guards, no nothing. I'm fine. And then she helped him escape and everything.
That's what I mean. He is clearly unstable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? She better be careful. He's going to, sabu her through the kitchen table. Okay.
I know, and she's obviously still trying to get to know him, and I guess he's trying to tell her what he does feel, and he feels like he's a monster. And the part here where they're actually on the, we'll do an overlay again, where they're on the refrigerator, kind of moving the refrigerator magnets around. And
also, he, during the kitchen scene is where she tells him the rest of the story about the dogs.
Oh, the
because
tragic
he
story,
asked,
yes.
he's like, hey, what's going on with the dog? Like,
Really?
what happened to him? Well, long story short, her ex-husband poisons the dog to kill him off, and that was over the line, and so she leaves him after that.
Which, I'm sorry, I think beating the dog should have been over the line, but at least she finally left him. Yeah.
So from there, yeah, they do this kind of like word play on with the refrigerator magnets.
Yes.
I found that to be kind of cool.
Oh, I did. I really liked that part.
Yeah, it was kind of cool because they had dialogue, but then the words that they were spelling on the fridge
Yes.
were kind of like intertwined with the dialogue.
Well, and plus too, it almost was like the words were almost being made from other words. Like they had, I think it was redemption on there, and then it turned into demon.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
so you could see the words, and then same thing with monster, and then I think it was like miss her and like, misery and things. So it was just really cool how it kind of word jumbled itself. I thought that was really clever.
And of course, whenever I see misery, I just have faith. So
And what a scary lady she was.
Now, we think that everything's calm at this point because
Yes.
she thinks she's gotten away with this
Right.
scot-free, but there's no way that she should have known better.
Well, I know she all of a sudden was
This
missing.
plan was definitely not thought out.
No, this was definitely too hasty for her.
And so we see that there's a guy outside, some type of SWAT team member,
Yes.
and he's got a rather large, looks like some type of rocket-propelled grenade or
I don't
something.
even know what he has, but it's gonna do some damage.
And so the last panel is actually the house exploding.
Yes, and it's all alluding to the fact that they've got to keep this all a secret, and they're like, well, even her, and it's like no one can be known of this. It's like, well, what kind of guy is this? And no one can even know his existence. Like, what's going on with this? So it was definitely pretty crazy. And then yeah, like you said, it was kaboom, and then that was the last page.
But what a great way to end it, though.
I know, another, gotta get that second one.
But I'm obviously he's not going to be killed, but I
No.
wonder if Dr. Reese is.
I guess we're gonna have to find out.
All right, Syndicate members, it's time for our special analysis. Well, right away, what I liked about this was the door rip, when he ripped the car door off
That
and
was
threw
cool. Yeah. What a way to open a door for someone.
it.
Yeah.
He's a
Could
real
be-
Jew.
It's a one-time thing, though, literally.
Yeah, but hey, he's showing his alpha maleness, and he's being kindly.
I don't need alpha maleness. That's fine. Actually, I like that she just divorced her husband. Good job. Should have done that sooner.
I actually like when Tim jumped in front of her to protect her from the bullets.
Oh, that was good. I didn't even think about that.
So,
Yeah, that kind of
you know
wanted to
what?
show that he's maybe protecting her.
And maybe that's why she doesn't really feel terrified or
That's true, because in every circumstance, he has protected her
he
more than anything.
jumped in front of her and took the bullets, and that's where we saw the healing factor.
Right, that's true. Yeah, I also liked the fact that they did use the letters on the fridge like we were talking about.
That
I just
was
thought that was
really-
very clever.
That was clever, yeah.
And again, just how it was a word jumble. I really like that, and just incorporating into the story.
I wondered if she if that's part of like her practice, because she's a shrink, so I
Oh,
wonder if that's maybe one of her tools that she uses
I
when
could
she's
see
giving
that.
therapy.
Yeah.
And I know I'm sounding obsessive about this, but I like that the cop wasn't bothered by the car door through.
I know, it was funny. Just like, oh, you're good.
I mean, there's a lot of mayhem going on the inside, but you wouldn't think they would just let some people walk away without at least being questioned at the minimum.
Well, not only that, how do people rip off a car door? Wouldn't that be questioned in
I
itself?
mean, besides myself, I don't really know the compared to other people.
Oh my goodness.
I also like the unevenness of Dr. Ashley Reese. She was all over the place, like emotionally.
She really was.
She clearly wanted to help Tim out, but at the same time, at the cost of all of her other associates.
Yeah, she really kept you guessing there. Yeah, I didn't really know what to think about her. I kind of understand her at the end though, a little bit more, but yeah, she definitely was an interesting character.
like she was not shocked about Harold's death at all.
No, she's like, okay, moving on. It's like, oh.
Like, that's not a very typical way to kill a human being. And I mean, I watch a lot of Criminal Minds, so I know a lot of ways in which that could be done. But, man, hypodermic needles to the neck. That's
just, yeah, that's a whole new needle phobia.
Nice. The last thing I have is I really liked, I like the paneling on Tim's memory background of the sandstorm.
Oh, I did like that too. I put that where it just looked really nice, or not nice, but really cool how it did the background. You're right, it was like a tornado, it was a storm, you could see a house. I just thought that was
and
very
different. He was yelling for somebody, I think, in that.
Yes.
I think Marco, I think he was like, hey, Marco, or something.
So you're trying to like kind of see in a glimpse of his past, and it was really, the coloring of it was really cool how that was done.
And I actually really liked the how the paneling was done on the around it. How it was very rugged and jittery.
Yes, actually, they did that in a couple other places within the comic, and I thought that was really clever too how they did it.
And I really like that when artists change up the way the panels look a little bit.
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool.
I do.
And I do enjoy looking at that. What I really liked is the skin tones in this.
Yes, I just thought the shading of everything, just the coloring in itself, it just all looked really good.
Yeah, the shading and just some of the, we'll do some overlays here, but the facial skin tones and the muscle structure, I really liked it. I thought it was really good art.
Yeah.
I appreciated the attention to detail and some of the close-up of the faces.
Honestly, that is something I loved about this book, was the coloring and was just all of the details, all of the like the shadowing, even on like patient 27 or 10, whatever you want to call them, arms. Like you could see the hair and you could just see the facial expressions and the lines and everything, and the facial expressions
were great.
Yeah.
And I also put here that I really like the brutality of Tim.
Okay, so I kind of did too. I really like the fight scenes, the action scenes of it all. Just the aggressiveness where you can really tell he's like slamming her up against that wall, and the way that they were able to convey that in drawing is really impressive.
And I'll tell you right now, if I saw a dude take a shot to the jelly beans like this. We're done here. I'm not gonna, or this guy is like ripping arms off.
Literally.
I'm not going after this guy.
Nope. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna clock right out.
In the rear with the gear. Now the last thing that I put out that I really liked was the guards kept using the cattle prods over and over, but they were clearly ineffective.
Yeah, I didn't understand that part either. But I really did like the fact of how they portrayed it with the little lightning coming out. I just thought that looked really cool.
Oh yeah, that was a really cool.
Yeah, I thought that looked really awesome, but yeah, not very effective towards it. Maybe towards a normal person, but not towards him.
It really had zero effect on him.
Yeah. And ironically, I really liked the part where he grabbed that guy's jaw and was obviously going to rip it, because the detail, you could actually see his jaw like on his face, like ripping.
And you know what?
That was.
I believe that was actually in the interview with Martin. How he was saying they actually had to scale back the brutality of that one, because he said that initially patient 27 ripped his head off, like grabbed him, put his from the inside of his mouth and just pulled it back like a motorcycle windshield. But I actually like the way they did this, though.
I did.
That slam was brutal.
It was. I just thought the whole couple panels that was done was really well done.
And these orderlies, they were not good employees.
I guess they're getting a minimum wage and they just don't care. I don't know.
Maybe just the abuse helps them cope with the low wages.
Maybe they're just psychopaths and they're like, hey, I'm just going to come in under the rug.
I totally get why Tim is pissed off. Though.
No kidding, I would be too.
Like, and you just give them a side. You're not even saying anything. You give them a side eye and you get cattle prodded.
No, that's crazy. All because you don't want to talk to them. I don't want to talk to them either.
What did you love about this biscuit?
Oh, goodness. There was so much to love. But I think, again, it was just the art. Just the way it looked, the detailing, the coloring, the way it portrayed things with the facial expressions. I was just really impressed by that.
I put that I loved Tim's escape scene.
Yes, that was epic. I really did like that too, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it lasted for a good chunk of the comic.
Mm-hmm.
There were multiple fight scenes to see. There was always a different way of taking out somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. From like arm rippings to
jaw rippings.
To jaw slammings.
Yeah, I completely agree. All of the fight scenes and everything were just really well done. All of the action scenes with him just being crazy, just really, really cool.
I also loved the healing factor of Tim.
That was very impressive. Yeah, you wouldn't even think that was going to be a thing, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, heal? Wait, you're in a mental institution. What's going on here? So it's definitely a very cool turn he did.
It makes me wonder what extent, though, like if he loses a limb, can he grow the limb back, or does it just heal into a numb? Or if he loses an eyeball?
That's a good question. Well, since he looks completely intact and it seems like the orderlies have already tried to kill him, I'm going to think that...
I'm pretty sure those orderlies have tried a few times because, yeah.
The way Harold kept saying, oh, he can't die, it's like, well, how many times have you tried to do that? I know what you mean, but...
That's a good point. I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, he's telling her that he can't die. It's like, well, then you would have had to try to kill him.
In multiple ways, then, I would think.
Oh, that's a good catch.
They're experimenting on these patients.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
Okay, so I also love, I put it knife and neck guy, and also needle neck Tim, or needle neck Harold.
Oh wow, yeah, that was graphic right there. That was definitely detailed. We'll definitely put a overlay for that for you.
I loved how he took the knife in the side, and then he pulls it out, and then feeds it to this guy.
Way to use what you have, but yeah, it was definitely pretty brutal. What I really loved about it though was at the very end, it kind of showed insight of why Dr. Reese was actually doing this. And she wanted him to answer the question, are you the man or the dog? And that's why she was actually going through her whole story. Because she wanted to know if Tim was more like her ex-husband or more like the dog. And you definitely want to be the dog in this situation.
Well, nobody wants to get beat with a golf club, but that guy was a total smeghead.
Yeah.
So overall, I actually love the splash page here.
Oh yes, all of the pages were really good.
This is the one with Dr. Reese and Tim, where she's like on the floor in front of him.
Yes.
This one was great.
Again, I just felt like they conveyed so much emotion, and you could really see what was going on, and like the anger that he had, and even when you go to your face, you can see like, oh, she's taken back. Like this is scary.
Plus, you see that he uses like resistance with her.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
because like the pile of dead bodies, he just killed Harold in an epic way, and he does not attack her. He's like, oh, it's you.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even take that into consideration.
He wanted to find out the end of that story.
The dog, okay, and I was not happy with the dog. Okay.
The dog was definitely not okay.
Not okay with this.
But the cliffhanger was good too.
Oh, I love the cliffhanger. I really do love the good cliffhanger because it really makes you just want to, I gotta read that second one. Instead of being like, oh, okay, well, story's done. It's like, oh no, I gotta find out what happens.
What did you think about the way that he just kind of started speaking all of a sudden?
Honestly, I kind of thought it made sense. If you're almost being tortured and treated like an animal, again, why would you talk to anyone? She treated him like a human being and like a person, so yeah, I would talk to them too. I feel like it's like common interrogation strategy that always fails with people that they think that violence is the best way.
And so that would mean that she wasn't actually treating him for a long period.
That's what I agree too. That's why all of a sudden he's like, oh, okay, well this person is a legitimate person and treats me as such. So
of course, you had to be grabbed by the throat and raised up off the ground before you got those first words.
I guess it's a give or take in a relationship.
Which, by the way, that was a really good panel too.
Oh, I agree. Again, all the emotion that it conveyed, you could tell she was definitely scared in that moment, no matter what she might do in the end. But she was definitely terrified.
I really liked this comic overall.
Yes.
It was fun to read. Mm-hmm. It was actually very quick too. The action in it. But I had to go back and take a good look at some of the scenes because there's a lot of detail work in here.
Lots going on in the background that you really have to realize, like, oh wait, okay, that makes sense. And again, I feel some of the trigger scenes that they had. Again, it was something that you kind of had to use your imagination a little bit more.
And so, unlike a lot of our other reviews, we actually talked about this one a little bit before we got on camera.
Yes.
Because we were like, wow, this is an interesting story, so we wanted to make sure we kind of highlighted it, and I definitely liked your take on the roses at the beginning.
Yeah, that's again, and I love how this comic kind of lets you do your own perception of it. But when I first saw them, before of course I had come to the golf club scene, I just kind of thought like, oh, they kind of look dead and droopy and kind of almost blood-like. And then when I saw that, it almost triggered for me like, oh wow, that looked just like the bouquet of roses. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. But,
yeah. So maybe if Martin, if you could comment on that, what were you going for there? Because that was good.
It was really good.
Yeah. Okay, so actually, I want to thank Cosmic Times and Martin Pierro for allowing us to review their work. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, just really excited to read the rest of the comics. Definitely got to find out what happens with these two, and if Dr. Reese survived, if not, but it's definitely exciting to read.
And all of their information, Cosmic Times and Martin's information, are down below. So make sure you do hit them up and let them know Joshua Mammoth sent you. Between the known and the unknown lies the man. I'll see you next time.